Namaste. Welcome back to our live sessions. We are continuing chapter 2. Today is session 14. We are going to cover Shloka 15. So we'll just pick up the thread because these shlokas are extremely important and they are like an Upanishad. So we will take some time to go over these shlokas. But the objective is we wanted to make sure that there is clarity. So just look at the structure of the second chapter. The first 10 shlokas express the universal problem. What is that universal problem? That I am subjected to suffering. So I got an interesting question offline. Somebody was asking when I was saying that it is the common problem. That doesn't mean somebody was asking me, so my problem, the Gita may not be able to solve my problem. That is not the problem because it is addressing the problem at the root level, not at the surface level. That is what we meant. Because that time subjected to suffering, if that problem is solved, every other problem is automatically solved. So your particular problem will be addressed. It's not that the solution is not for the symptom, the solution is for the root cause. So this was just a question came up in the last class. So that fundamental problem is presented, that I am subjected to suffering, and Krishna's answers, like Shloka, Krishna is going to address this in different dimension. And the first thing he addressed is like the highest knowledge. So from Shloka 11 to 20, the topic is discovering who am I, what am I. This is the subject matter we are, and we covered up to Shloka 14. So let's quickly cover that Shloka 11 to 14. So, like, once we study this Shloka up to 25, you all should be able to just say what exactly is from Shloka 11 to 25 quickly. So the skill they say is you should be able to summarize it in 2 minutes and you should be able to elaborate to the extent you want. So this is what they say as a measure of mastering or studying a subject. So always try to summarize it up, summarize in your own language, and that is going to make these points very clear. So Krishna said that the fundamental problem is that I am subjected to suffering. And he said, the only way to get out of this challenge is to know yourself. So self-realization is the solution, the ultimate solution. Any other solution I give, that is going to be temporary. He used a very nice language. He said, Pandita gatasun agatasumscha na anushojanti pandita. Who is Pandita? It's not a Pandit you see in temples or the other Pandit definition. The Shankaracharya clarifies that in his commentary, Atma Vishayeha Buddhihi. The one who has firm understanding of his own Atma. Atma means himself. The one who knows himself properly is known as Pandita. Everybody knows ourselves, but is that understanding correct and complete? Sometimes it is correct, but it may not be complete. We understand ourselves much in a limited way. So when somebody's understanding about himself or herself is correct and complete and proper, that person is known as Pandita, and that person is not subjected to this perpetual suffering. This is the essence of that first verse. And then naturally a question comes in. When you say that the Panditas won't go to this perpetual suffering, the fear of death is for everyone. And also, when the other people pass away, it's a problem. So to address that, the second shloka is given, which is the shloka number 12. He said, essentially, there is absolutely no birth and death, neither to you, nor to me, nor anybody else in the world. So the use of double negative, please highlight. It's very important to show that there is absolutely death is not an end of your being. Death is not an end to your existence. Birth is not the beginning of your existence also. It's perennial. It's going on and on and on and on. So then he said, if that is the case, why people are suffering? He said, like, when the sense organs interact with the sense objects, matra sparshastu kaunte, sorry, dehinosmin yatha dehe kaumaram yauvanam jara tatha dehantara praptur dhiras tatra na muhyati. But when you say that you are not subjected to death and birth, that is not what I'm seeing. I see everyday birth and I see everyday death. So what does that mean? It is not reconciling, the absurd fact is not reconciling with what you are teaching. So to understand that, Krishna tells, yes, you see the birth, growth, decay and death, the Shatbhava Vikara of the body, but you are not the body. You are not confined to the body. So at the end of that death, what happens? Your subtle body is going to take another body. So essentially, what is dying is only your physical body, not you. So here we paused. We tried to understand at least the three dimensions about a human personality. Like there is a physical body. We talked extensively about the subtle body. We talked about the Karna Sharira, the causal body also. The subtle body and causal body, the difference is very minimal. So we clearly try to understand what exactly it is. And we are trying to understand that through different angle, the longevity, what is the nature, everything we tried. In the book, it is explained in detail, and also we presented a nice table. So we come and essentially who you are, the Atma. And that Atma is not subjected to death and birth. Even the subtle body, even though it has a longer longevity compared to the physical body, that is also succumb to an end. Even Karma Sharira will come to an end once. But the Atma is not subjected to death and birth. And then what is the point? If you identify yourself with the physical body, yes, you have birth, you have growth, you have decay, you have death. And if you identify with subtle body, you have a longer duration, but still it comes to an end. So what exactly is spirituality? Spirituality is shifting your identity step by step from physical body to the subtle body to the subtler body, and eventually getting identified with your own true nature, Atma. So we took the Swapna Drishtanta and explained this, all that we discussed. I'm just trying to go in a very systematic way. I'm trying to explain it so that if you can understand this Gita is very simple. It's these portions considered to be very difficult. It is very simple. And more than that, you are going to get the key to unlock any Upanishads. If you study these 14 shlokas properly, you are getting the key to unlock any Upanishads. Of course, the details are there, but you won't get stuck. And then Krishna said, if that is the case, if the knowledge of your true identity is, even if it is going to eliminate the greatest worry of your life, is that going to put an end to all the sufferings or the pains in your life? Absolutely not. Because as long as you are in the body, you will have to face the difficult people. You will have to face challenges with your body. You have to face challenges, struggles, pressure, everything. So how, if you, Krishna cleverly tells, you need to develop a skill to handle this. So that skill is given as titiksha. Titiksha. Tam titikshasva bharata. Matra sparshastu kaunteya shitoshna sukha dukkhada agama payino anityaha tam titikshasva bharata. This is what we saw last week. So the matra sparshastu kaunteya, when you interact with the world, matra means somebody was asking a question. I think Manoj ji, you asked the question. What is matra sparshastu? Matra, the word matra literally means to measure. What exactly is measuring or sensing the world? Essentially, it is the sense organs. So it's a poetic language. So when you say you're seeing somebody, the eye is looking at, scanning it and getting it. That is what is matra sparsha. Sparsha means when the sense organs touches. Touch means need not be physical touch. When the eyes look at somebody, when you hear a sound, when something touches you on your tongue, when something touches in your skin, all this is matra sparsha. So when the sense organs interact with the sense objects, that means whenever you interact with the world, one or more sense organs are always involved. What is going to happen? Shita, Ushna, depending upon your experience and depending upon your interpretation of that experience. Very important. Because, see, the experience is one thing. I see some bad news. But how my mind interpret that experience is going to create what? Emotions in the mind. The physical interactions can create sensations. That is what is Shita Ushna is referred as the physical sensation. Then Sukha Dukha, it is the interpretation of that experience is going to create emotions in your mind. And what is going to happen? This will come and go. Pleasant experience will go, unpleasant may come, unpleasant may go, the pleasant will come, but none of them are permanent. None of them are permanent. So what is their nature? Agama apayina. They come and go. So what should be your attitude? Titikshasva bharata. Tvam titikshasva bharata. Titiksha means sahanam sarvadukhanam apratikara purvakam chintavilapasrihitam. Sa titiksha iti uchyate. Viveka Chudamani. Shankaracharya defines it nicely. So you will be able to go beyond that sorrow. Yes, sorrow will come, you will cry, but you are not completely drowned in that sorrow. You are not like there is a threshold of pain is high, and later this will be translated something as a big skill called samatvam. Samatvam. That Krishna defines that samatvam as an indication of somebody's emotional maturity. It is very important. That samatvam means you are you will not be completely thrown away, right? You will be in control. So that is what is samatvam. And that titiksha is something that is going to lead you to that samatvam. So your ability to withstand some of the difficult situations is called titiksha. And that is a great skill. And tam titikshasva bharata. So we will listen to these 4 shlokas and then Avanti can give a quick recap and then we will go to shloka 15. Okay, so let's just listen to that Krishna's teaching one more time. Because these shlokas are so beautiful. That is why I'll play the shloka one more time.
अशोच्यानन्वशोचस्त्वं प्रज्ञावादांश्च गतासूनगतासूंश्च नानुशोचन्ति पण्डिताः न त्वेवाहं जातु नासं न त्वं नेमे जनाधिपाः न चैव न भविष्यामः सर्वे वयमतः परम् देहिनोऽस्मिन् यथा देहे कौमारं यौवनं जरा तथा देहान्तरप्राप्तिः धीरस्तत्र न मुह्यति मात्रा स्पर्शास्तु कौन्तेय शीतोष्णसुखदुःखदाः आगमाबायिनो नित्याः तां स्थितिक्षस्व भारत.
Okay. Do you want to add on the recap?
Namaskar. I think you covered it, not I think, I know you've covered it beautifully, Rajeshji, but just to highlight a few things. There's an interesting statement that Rajeshji just made, and we've said that again and again in the book as well, that the only solution to all our problems, is self-realization. And yet, down the Gita, Krishna himself declares that self-realization can be had by one in a million lifetimes. Bahunam janmana mante. It's very rare that you can attain that self-realization. So sometimes, especially new seekers in Gita who come to that verse where Krishna declares that it is so rare, they get a bit disillusioned. They're like, what is this for then? If we can't have the only solution to our problem, then what is the point of being on any spiritual path? But what Vedanta assures every seeker is spiritual edification is not all or nothing. It's not that you get the $1 million or you don't get anything else. Every single inch forward on the spiritual path is taking you closer to that goal. And the beauty of it is that every step that you take forward is giving you the peace and the tranquility and the solutions to your problems in small doses, that which you will get in full when you self-realize. And this, we don't need the scripture to tell us. If any of us on this panel have implemented even one teaching of the Bhagavad Gita that we have learned so far, sincerely, 100% you have felt the peace, you have felt the release, you have felt the ease, and almost felt like, okay, this is the solution to my problem, despite not having self-realized. I mean, hand on your heart, if you've been with Rajeshji for so many years, listening to so many lectures, and have really internalized, processed all of this, look at yourself and how you interacted, how this Matra Sparsha has been going on 20 years ago, and how you're looking at the same stuff today. Each one of us will agree that there is a marked difference. There is a marked increase in peace. There's a marked increase in tranquility. There's a marked increase in our efficiency of handling those problems. So this is something that we have to remember. One more thing I like to highlight is that years and years, lifetimes of hypnosis we've gone through to make ourselves psyched that we are the body, we are the mind, we are the intellect. And we've made all of existence, we've condensed it into this reality that we have convinced ourselves that we are. Now, suddenly we've come in contact with the Upanishads, we've come in contact with Advaita Vedanta, we've come in contact with Bhagavad Gita, which says, guess what? All of that is an illusion. You're not the body, you're not the mind, you're not the intellect, you're not even the Karana Sharira that's bringing you again and again into this world. You are the self. This is what these verses are about, where Krishna is talking this highest truth to a man who is not in any position to understand anything. Yet he's hollering it into his system that you are the self. All of this, all these people you love, you yourself, you're not that. You are Atma. So you see, when lifetimes of hypnosis has convinced us that we are the body, we are the mind, we are the intellect, and as long as we think we are the body, we are the mind, we are the intellect, we are going to consistently be knocked and shocked by the world. The body is going to feel the heat and cold. The mind is going to feel pleasure and pain. And the intellect is going to be challenged with honor and dishonor every step of the way. But while we are trying to self-realize, if we keep telling ourselves, we begin the process of de-hypnosis, and we keep telling ourselves, I am not the body, I am the self. Rest assured, the pain and pleasure, the pain and the heat and cold that the body feels will become less. If we keep telling ourselves, I'm not these emotions that are drowning me, I am the self, rest assured, the pain and pleasure that we feel will begin to lessen. If we keep reminding ourselves, I am not this intellect and the thoughts that it processes, the honor and dishonor that we feel will begin to lessen. So this hypnosis process that we've gone through, we start de-hypnotizing with what? You have no proof for it. You have no proof that you are Atma. Right now, all proofs are screaming, you are the body, you are the mind, you are the intellect. There is no proof that is screaming from within you, that is convincing you, no, sorry, I'm none of this. I am the Atma. So what makes us believe that? What will make us, encourage us to walk this path? We've said this before, there are 4 ways of knowledge, of gaining knowledge. One is pratyaksha, where you yourself realize you're the self. We are far from it. Next one is anumana. You infer, there is a smoke, there has to be a fire somewhere. Okay, maybe I'm the Atma. The third is comparison. That, yeah, while my body, mind, and everything has suffered in the past, there is still this witness consciousness that has come out of all of it and is looking at that suffering as somebody else's story. So that is anumana. But the fourth is what we have to hold on to dear life for now, which is the word passed down by the sages. That somebody who has walked this path successfully is telling us that we are not the Atma. We are not the body, mind, and intellect. We are the Atma. So for now, we hold on to their word. And not because they have just spoken, their examples are shining in front of us. They are the living examples of that embodied truth. So we believe them. There's this beautiful quote that says, which I have grappled to my soul, I believe in something that I know until I know what I had first believed in. I repeat again, I believe for now, I believe in something that I know until I come to know that which I was believing in. And that is the definition of Shraddha. Shraddha is not just faith. Yes, I have faith. Shraddha is that elongated pulling of that first belief that, yes, I believe what the Gita is saying is true. You keep at it, you keep at it, you keep believing it, keep practicing until you say, oh my God, yes, Aham Brahmasmi. So this is the entire process of de-hypnosis that we have to go through consistently. And this is what the verses start initiating, igniting within us. One more quote I'll end this recap with is, I had read this long ago, I think it was going around in, on WhatsApp, where it says, all our problems are ego-driven. Why? Because the ego is in a hurry. I want this now. I have to have a solution to this now. I want to solve this now. I want to get all this now. I want to acquire all this. The ego is in a hurry. Why is the ego in a hurry? Because it knows it's limited. Even if it's dragging you on your feet through lifetimes, it knows at some point it will be dissolved. At some point, this person will realize the self. So that is why it makes this whole anxiety around us, within us. So the ego is in a hurry because it knows it's limited. The spirit, the Atma, is not in a hurry because it knows it is eternal. That's one more quote that will help us through this whole process of titiksha. If something we want, we are not able to get right now, it's okay. I go to the point of, if I want something now, if it's not happening now, leave it, I'll get it in the next lifetime. That much faith you have to have in the relative eternity of your subtle body, which will receive all satiation through how many other lifetimes you want to go through. And that much faith in the eternity of the Atma, which doesn't want any of this. So titiksha is something we can master if we continuously remind ourselves, it's the ego that's getting nervous. It's the ego that's getting caught. But the Atma that I am, which this class is not saying it, the Bhagavad Gita, Krishna himself is saying it, that Atma is eternal and wants nothing. So it's just about re-educating ourselves consistently. Self-realization is not becoming anything. We are the self. Self-realization is unbecoming everything that we thought that we are, which we are not.
Okay, so let's move on to the next shloka.
यं हि न व्यथयन्त्येते पुरुषं पुरुषर्षभ समदुःखसुखं धीरं सोऽमृतत्वाय कल्पते.
So the next shloka is connecting from Titiksha. So what is the biggest advantage of Titiksha? Because earlier Krishna said the solution is knowing yourself. The only solution for all the fundamental problem is knowing yourself. So I just got a message. So when somebody was asking, like, when you say the only solution, are you preaching or are you trying to say like I am the only way? No, 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 no. We didn't say that Krishna's path is the only path to self-realize. It is not calling out a religion is true or a particular method is true. Knowing yourself is the only solution. That is very much different from follow me or go to hell. That's not at all advised in the Gita. So just be very clear on that particular part. When we say only solution, it can be Christ's path, or it can be Buddha's path, or it can be Krishna's path. But whatever path you follow, you understand yourself, right? So in Bible it is said, what? Know the truth. And what does that truth will do? Look at the quote. That truth will set you free. Right? This is exactly what it is. So absolutely no fundamentalism or fanaticism here. It is only the goal that is set, and that there are different approaches to that goal. Absolutely, that's it is. Okay, good question. So yamhina vyathayante. Sorry, let's pick up the thread. So Krishna said the solution is knowing yourself. But you need to learn this art, because when you live in this body, the body will have to go through, or when you live in this world, you will have to face ups and downs, heat and cold, pleasure and pain, and difficult people, difficult situation. So you need to learn the art of that titiksha. So how does these two reconcile? One leads to the other, and that is exactly what is discussed. So self-realization, as we discussed, it is the ultimate goal. But you're starting, because your current state, yes, theoretically I heard that Atma, knowing Atma is going to set you free. Know the truth and the truth will set you free, but I don't know the truth fully. I may have the theoretical knowledge, but my experience or my experiential understanding is completely different. Until you get that truth, you don't know that truth. And then you are not yet free, if I borrow the language of Bible. So titiksha is the first step. So he tells, yamhina vyathayantete purusham purushashabha sama dukkha sukham dhiram sa amrdatvaya kalpade. He said, sama dukkha sukham dhiram. What is that titiksha is going to lead you? Sama dukkha sukham. One who is not shaken by the pairs of opposites of life. Yeah, he will cry. Remember that first arrow and second arrow? He will not be completely blown away by the situation. He will be 100% under the, meaning the situations will shake him, but he will not fall down. He will be completely, who is the master of the situation? Who is the victim of the situation? A person who practices titiksha, he will be a master of the situation. So in Ramayana, Lord Shiva and Mother Parvati test Rama. It's a beautiful, because remember the Ramayana has two versions, like the Vatmiki Ramayana is there, the Adhyatma Ramayana is there. Adhyatma Ramayana is the spiritual side of the Ramayana. So when Sita Mata was kidnapped by Ravana, Rama cried. Tears were coming out of him. He was just asking the deer, did you see my Sita? Then he went and asked a tree, did you see my Sita? He was crying. So Mother Parvati said, what is this? He is a man of realization. And how can he not be under the situation? So Shiva said, you go and test him. So she took the form of a tribal lady and stood in front of Rama. Suddenly seeing Mata Parvati, Rama started talking to her. That shows he had the control. Yes, the pain is there, but the suffering is not there. And that is what Titiksha is going to give. So, and second thing is that, see, when you are in a problem, the greatest tool or the best tool, you have to solve that problem. If at all you want to get out of that problem, you need to solve the problem. And the best tool available to you to solve that problem is your own mind. And if that mind is not in my control, how in the world I can get out of the problem? So the skill titiksha is very critical. So that is why yamhina vyathayante, the one who is not perpetually, like continuously suffering or continuously getting down, that person, yamhina vyathayante, purusham purushashabha, the best among the man. So again, the word purusha is not for any gender thing, right? It only means just that in ancient literature, always they used to use the masculine gender. Absolutely no discrimination. If you have any doubt, refer chapter 5, Shloka 5. Pandita is the one who is like everyone, man, women, everyone should be the same. So when the scripture uses masculine gender, this is not just the Gita, right? In Bible, in Quran, in every scripture you see only masculine gender. That doesn't mean that there is nothing less for the ladies. Absolutely not. And in the Vedic culture, you see there were several Rishikas. The Upanishad, Brihadaranyaka Upanishad was taught by Chandogya Upanishad, Brihadaranyaka Upanishad. It was a conversation between Markandeya and Maitreyi. Lady was the student. So absolutely nothing like that. Because I'm so surprised people only see these things and they don't see the real message. So that is why all these clarifications are needed. So the one who is not continuously tossed away by the situation, the one who can manage the pair of opposites in life, that person, so amrtatvaya kalpade, he is fit for the immortality. He is fit for self-realization. So learn the titiksha, and with that titiksha, you will be able to go to the next goal. So the spiritual path is often considered as a two-stepped process. One is, obviously, the first step is like taking you to a calm, controlled mind. And step 2 is, with that calm, controlled mind, you seek the highest goal, which is the self-realization. To that matter, Bhagavad Gita lays out a roadmap in pursuing any goals of the life. Whenever you pursue a big goal of the life, there are 2 steps. First step is, when you face a big goal in your life, you need to have control over the mind. So Bhagavad Gita gives a set of practices for you to control your mind. Why? The goal of the Bhagavad Gita is not to make you an expert in artificial intelligence. The goal of the Bhagavad Gita is give you the skill set to pursue any goals in life. Once you have that step 1, you can use that step, the controlled, calm, focused mind, to pursue any goals of your life. If money making is your goal, your money making process will be 10 times efficient than approaching that goal without a controlled, calm mind. But the goal of the Gita is to make you fit for that highest goal of life, which is the self-realization. And for that self-realization, you need to practice titiksha. So once again, what Krishna tells here is, yamhina vyathayante, the one who practices titiksha, he will develop a skill to withstand the ups and downs of the life, to keep the mind in a calm, controlled state, And that person, so amrtatvaya kalpatahe. And eventually, he will be getting that immortality. Immortality here means what? Self-realization. As long as you are identified with the body and the mind, what is the problem? You are mortal. When you shift your identity, when you know your true identity, what is going to happen? You will be knowing yourself. So this is the essence of this shloka. Let me go to at a glance, and then Avanti can also give her comment. Avanti, can you give the at a glance portion and then your commentary, then your thoughts?
So, at a glance for Shloka 15 is a wise person embodying resilience, titiksha, and clarity, viveka, maintains equanimity through life's inevitable highs and lows. This steadfast balance is the foundation for unlocking life's greatest potentials, achieving material excellence and self-realization. So if you just look at this at a glance, if you have the book and you want to underline or circle with a pencil, what are we looking for? We are not looking for abandoning of the world. We are looking for, as we live here, we have material excellence. We enjoy our life fully. And through that material, not abandoning that material excellence, through that material excellence, we go towards the goal of self-realization. We keep walking towards that self-realization through fulfillment, intelligent fulfillment. When we talk about intelligent fulfillment of our desires, we come to the first line of that at a glance. What does the first line say? Embodying resilience, which is titiksha, that even-mindedness, that calmness, that enduring with a smile, and clarity, viveka. So these two, it's a nice thing. TV. Instead of watching television, let's obsess over this TV. Whenever you're a bit frazzled, think TV. What is TV? Titiksha, viveka. Titiksha is that first withdrawal, bringing yourself back. Wait, what's happening? And viveka is the ability to discern, does this require so much of my investment? Does this require for me to be completely abandoning myself in the avalanche that it's creating around me? So just consistently, whenever you are hit with something, TV, think about TV. Titiksha, can I endure this? And how will I endure this? By viveka, by understanding what is meant to be done within this situation. Now, going back to when we look at this verse as it is, if we just go to the translation, O Arjuna, the noblest among men, Purushar Shabha. I'd like to stop here just to talk about this. Like, if you translate it properly, like actually it's like bull amongst men. He calls Arjuna bull amongst men. Now, one thing we have to understand that in India, which is so wrongly misunderstood, is that, oh, bull is holy or cow is holy. You know, we look up to this particular animal a lot. Is it designated holy? Is it said this is holy? Yes, Nandi is Shiva's, belongs to Shiva and all of that. But apart from that, if you just look at the way a cow, a bull functions in the world, it upholds, singularly upholds what was Swami Chinmayananda's motto or Chinmay Mission's motto. We give more than we take. It's there in the mission pledge of Chinmay Mission. And no other animal on this planet, look for yourself, Google, gives of itself more than what it takes. If we just take a cow, it'll eat fodder, which is dry grass. And out of that, what all does it give back to the human race? Its milk, its hide, its horns, everything. It plows the fields. So there is exponential more giving than there is taking from the world. And when Krishna addresses Arjuna, not once, I think many times he says this word, Purusha Shabha. He says it quite a few times. It's reminding Arjuna that life, human life, and especially Arjuna's life, who is a Kshatriya, who's there in the service, is about service and sacrifice. So even when we read this verse and we internalize Arjuna and say, okay, I am Arjuna receiving this knowledge, immediately bring yourself back to, I am here to serve and sacrifice. When you put yourself into that mode, I'm here to self and sacrifice, you lift yourself out of selfishness. We are working on chapter 3 right now, writing the commentary on that. And we're just working on that phase where we talk about how actions have to be selfless. The minute you bring yourself out and say, oh, bull amongst men, bull is service and sacrifice, the hilt of service and sacrifice, titiksha becomes a bit easier because you stop thinking more about yourself. Simple example I'll give. A mother, especially in Western countries, and a lot of us are living abroad, far away from India. I'm sure a lot of us have delivered children and raised children abroad. How many times we might have been, not literally, but actually dying with fever, with pain, with, just even postnatal depression. But all of it sat back. We never took an off day. Why? To love another, to provide for the child. I can write a whole book, a novel on my story of motherhood. There was no thinking about, oh, what is going to happen to me? I've got this fever. No, you get up and go. Even at work, you can say, sorry, I'm taking a sick day. As a mother in the house, can you? Of a young child abroad. So that is what we have to bring to our mind when we think about this service and sacrifice. Start with your house. How much have you served and sacrificed for your house? Just let it flow outward. So that is something to remember. Who is not afflicted by these dualities, pleasure and pain, who remains balanced in both samadukha sukham, with a steady mind, dhiram, which we have already introduced that word, diksha, is indeed fit for immortality. Again, bringing us back to the sole purpose of human life, the sole purpose of being here on earth, the sole purpose of studying the Bhagavad Gita. We assure you, in the pursuit of self-realization, none of your material desires are going to be thwarted. None of them. We promise you that the more and more you make that your goal, self-realization, intelligently, with viveka, with titiksha, you will be able to live out your desires so that you are walking towards self-realization. So you have to integrate them both. We've mentioned Patanjali Yoga Sutras before. When you come to step 5 of the 8 limbs, when you come to the 5th limb, pratyahara, uparati, where you are bringing yourself out of the world and you're more or less settled within yourself. That again is the prerequisite for the next 2 steps, which is dharana, dhyana, and samadhi. Without that, you're not going to be able to sit and meditate. Imagine you're sitting on the meditation cushion and saying, I want to realize Atma. In that, when you're still, your mind starts churning. You're churning some past hurt. You're churning some future anxiety. How in the world are you going to focus on Om? You'll start Om, 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 Om. By the 6th Om, you're home. Your Om becomes home. And there it goes, slips again. So it is not only an advice. It is a prerequisite that you have to come to that point of pratyahara, to that point of uparati, where yes, things are happening around you, but you are settled within yourself enough to be able to bring your mind into single-pointed concentration through dharana, and then have only that one goal of Om, which will take you to the ultimate home, away from this home that is driving us crazy. So let's go on to see what else the commentary.
Yeah, so those are the major points in the commentary. So you can give, meaning I'll ask, because there are a few questions also coming, and I'll answer that after the session. So this is the major goal of this verse. You can read the book. We try to explain this elaborately. But the next shloka is it's one of the shlokas we are going to take a couple of sessions. That is the essence of all the Upanishads, and it is such an important. If you take 10 shlokas of the Bhagavad Gita, this is one of them. So that's what we are going to see next week. But the quick recap is, we understood that self-realization or knowing yourself, who you are, what you are, is essentially the solution to your fundamental problem. Second thing is, but even self-realized person, when he lives in this world, he has to face challenges. We talked about several examples. So as long as you live in this world, you need to have that skill of titiksha. Can you explain titiksha? Yes, last week we explained it, and you can watch the video for a detailed explanation. But in short, titiksha means your ability to withstand pressures and pains. You are not completely going out. So sahanam sarva dukkhanam apratikara purvakam. Your ability to withstand pressure. It's usually what happens. You suffer something. You manage it, but with curse and tears, and you will blame everybody else in the world, from God to the family. That's not the one. So you know that, yeah, this you can bear this. So that threshold of pain, that threshold of that, what you call that mental resilience, is very high. And that is what is titiksha. And that titiksha is a critical major skill one needs to learn in the spiritual path. And don't worry, this is only what, right? Up to Shloka 38 is only what. From 38 to 53, he's going to talk about how. And then from Shloka chapter 3 to chapter 17, it is a detailed elaboration of that how. Each of these techniques will be taken, double-clicked, and expanded. So right now it is what? You need to learn this art of titiksha. And the art of titiksha, once you have the sama dukkha sukham dhiram, you are fit for that highest goal of your life. So Avanti, you can give the reflection and quote. And after that, I got 2 more questions. I will just answer that before we wind it up.
So the reflective prompt on page number 136. Are you able to sit still in meditation? Or beyond a few moments, does your mind get pulled into regrets over the past, anxieties for the future, and a million things to accomplish in the present? What can you do to approach the seat of meditation with a clearer and more balanced mind? So please write this answer for yourself. First of all, acknowledge that it is not possible. That is the whole gist of the shloka, actually. Without coming to that point of titiksha, without coming home to yourself, without pratyahara, dharana, dhyana, samadhi is impossible. It's not going to be possible. So answer that question. And the quote for today is, resilience steadies the heart, clarity lights the path to greatness. So again, going back to the 2 prerequisites, titiksha, which is resilience, and clarity, which comes from viveka.